Hey there, Premier League fans. Welcome on to this week's episode of Between the Posts, where he's Matthew and I'm Jason, and we get to talk Premier League and break down the Premier League games that are this week and giving you leans and bets for all games. There's a limited schedule this week due to the FA Cup kind of squeeze into the Premier League, but there are some good matchups, and hopefully we can find ourselves some good betting angles. What's going on, Matt? How are you doing, man?
Oh, it's March Madness, man. Did you have a good first day?
I don't know college basketball on any level, so I don't
Yeah,
get into the madness.
yeah. I didn't really make any bets yesterday. I just kind of filled out my brackets. I had a couple Arizona Final Four stuff, but
Oof.
other than that, it came away pretty clean.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, it's on a couple. I filled out like five brackets. I'm in this one where it's a big pool. I'd love to win it. It'd be like 5 grand.
Nice. So other than maybe Arizona, you didn't get too slaughtered yesterday then.
Yeah, like in two of the five brackets, I had Arizona going to the Final Four. So those two, I would, they're pretty much done. But the other ones, I'm clean.
All right. Well, I'm sure other people got bit by the dust too yesterday with the
Yeah.
madness. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and kick off the discussion here in the Premier League. We've got a Friday football afternoon between Nottingham and Newcastle. Matt, when I looked at this matchup, this one's going to be, are you going to trust your eyes maybe? Or are you going to trust the stats? Because when I looked at this matchup, we're getting Forest at home, which we love the spot here for Forest at home. Like their chances of getting a goal. Newcastle's a team that creates, they get chances, but man, their finishing has been really poor this season. But maybe against a new Forest team, that makes you think maybe they can get a goal. So I look at this matchup, Matt, and I thought both teams to score on over 2.5. It's at plus money. It's at good plus money. With just it felt like a good spot. But then I kind of get nervous when I start digging into the stats of clean sheets and Newcastle under 2.5 stats. What do you think here? Your eyes or your stats with this one?
It's a tricky one. I mean, I don't really, I'm not wanting to lay the minus 150 on Newcastle on the road here, but I do think that they kind of turned a little corner there because they were struggling. I mean, look, they picked up their first win, Jason, in a long time against Wolves. And the reason they did that is because they made a good change. Eddie Howe finally started Isak up top, and they were going with Callum Wilson. Isak's the better player, and if they start Isak, week in week out, they might be able to squeeze into this top four. Like I'm hoping that they continue to start Callum Wilson so Liverpool can kind of come back into this top four race here. But it feels like that was a big moment there. It's like to make it was a good call by Howe, like to finally go with the better player. I don't know what he was waiting on, but maybe it was a little bit of fitness, maybe sharpness. It's still his first season in the league, but yeah, really, other than that, I have no feel on this one. I think that Newcastle probably get the job done here, but I am not interested in laying the 150 on the road, like we've talked about for weeks now. Is Forest solid home team? So I mean, I can see both teams to score.
I think with the solid with Forest being solid at home, Newcastle just shaky enough, even though they come off a win. This could be a spot where maybe you dabble in some Forest double chance. I think you're getting a great price on that. Or maybe you just stick to maybe both teams scoring. I think that has a real possibility here with Forest at home. I also like corners too, Matt. Newcastle, 72% of their matches go over 9.5 corners. 72%. For Forest, it's 54%. And this one went over 9.5 in the reverse fixture back in August. It had 12 corners. That's my bet that I want to give out is over 9.5 corners at minus 106. I do think there's goals. I do think both teams score, but give me the corners angle at minus 106 over on Bet Rivers at over 9.5 corners. That's what I'm playing.
I love that. I love when you're diving into the stats. I feel like that those are those are the ones I'll be tailing that one. Like that's solid.
All right, Matt. Let's keep this on rolling there. Let me pull up the thing here just so we catch them in order. For some reason, I didn't write them. All right, Villa Bournemouth is the next one there on Saturday. Villa Bournemouth, which by the way, Matt, I may throw in something here real quick. I hate the time change because now I got to wait till 10 a.m. You got to wait till 11 a.m. to catch your morning
Mm-hmm.
football. This is like afternoon football.
Yep.
I don't like it.
Yeah, it's not. It's yeah. Some of the Champions League stuff is
4 o'clock for you.
4 o'clock for
That's
me, and I'm
brutal.
trying to. I like to watch the game and then like head to the gym or like do something. You know what I mean? So then that kind of
It's brutal.
yeah, yeah.
Brutal. All right, what do you see here between Villa and a Bournemouth squad that knocked off Liverpool? What are you seeing here?
Yeah. That's I raised that stupid Liverpool sign last week to brag about the 7-0, and then they do that. I thought that Liverpool really looked good on the road at the Bernabeu. I know that they didn't score, but that was a really chaotic game. But they look good. They lost it, but I think that Liverpool are still obviously. I mean, they're a really strong team. I don't know what it is about turning up and turning down, but they they didn't. They created almost two expected goals. Jason, missed penalty from Salah. So that was just unfortunate on the team total aspect. But I mean, they
He like
had
ran up to take that penalty kick. As soon as he started running, I was like, he was running almost too fast for my liking. I hate the slow, but he was just like, yo, he flashed it
yeah.
wide. I
I mean,
don't know.
he's like, yeah. I don't get that. I don't understand that. But in this game, man, I'm not really interested in laying the 140 on Villa, but I'd be only looking towards the home side. Like I don't trust Bournemouth, but they have. I mean, look, Bournemouth, they were up 2-0 against Arsenal. Arsenal have that magic this year, and then
Mm-hmm.
they beat Liverpool. Look at the last three games. I mean, for Bournemouth, they played City, Arsenal, and Liverpool. They beat Wolves before they played City. They tied against Newcastle. I mean, Bournemouth are in a good way. Do we need to wake up and say that Bournemouth are in a really damn good form? They are, because I don't care about the 3-2 loss to Arsenal because it's about the context of the match. And
Mm-hmm.
they were up 2-0 in that. Like that's really freaking impressive on the road at the Emirates. No one's done that all year. So, now that I, kind of mentioned this, I think that Bournemouth are in a good way to where, maybe they don't get beat. And let's also remember the reverse fixture here. They won 2-0 at
Mm-hmm.
home against Villa. I believe that was the Steven Gerrard Villa, but, you know,
Probably, yeah.
but so here's this one. I actually kind of like them. There have been 15 consecutive all comps clashes for Villa in which they have managed to score at least one goal. So 15 straight Villa have scored.
Yeah, you
And
just hit
guess
the.
what? Bournemouth are in a good enough way to
Mm-hmm.
score as well here. So
You
both
just hit the
teams to
nail on the
score
head.
yes at minus 120
That
makes the
is the
most
bet.
sense.
That is the bet.
Uh,
You hadn't quite gotten to it till the very end, and I was going to mention it. That is the bet with how Villa
Yep.
scores, and then Bournemouth's uptick in form. Maybe not getting results, but competing against the better teams in the Premier League. I like both teams to score. I was going to be the bet and the angle I was going to give out. So
Yep. That's
you
the
nailed
bet.
it. That is the bet. All right, let's go ahead and move on to Brentford versus Leicester, which this is a no-brainer one based on the stats. Leicester's away. When Leicester's away, they're number one in the Premier League. Their games average 3.8 goals. Their goal differential is 21-29, so you see they're chipping in and conceding. 9 of their 13 games have gone over 2.5. Brentford at home is number 5 in the Premier League. Their games average 3 goals per game. Again, 27 and 13 goal differential, 7 of 13 cashes. Leicester's last 6 games have seen 67% of their matches go over 2.5 goals. The last 3 head-to-heads have cashed both teams to score an over 2.5. Sign me up for an over 2.5. Don't tack on both teams to score because Brentford at home could do the job 3-0. So over 2.5 for me, minus 116 over at FanDuel.
Copy and paste. I don't have anything else to add. Over 2.5. Look at the head to heads as well. Like you mentioned, Leicester on the road. Brentford feeling nice about themselves, grabbing 2 against Southampton yesterday.
Yep.
Yeah, give me over 2.5. Don't complicate it.
Feels like if you get greedy and tack on both teams to score, it could burn you because Brentford can easily cover this on their own.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you. And I just don't like where Leicester are right now. I love where Brentford is. I mean, so yeah. So I think that both teams will score,
I think.
but
I
it's just
think.
not. There's just no, whatever. Like if I'm going to lay the 120 versus getting plus 100, like just don't complicate it. Sometimes just pay the tax.
Okay. All right. Let's have you kick off this next one here between Southampton and Tottenham.
God, this is a freaking brutal game. I would say like Southampton looked like dog shit yesterday. Like they were really poor. I mean, look at the XG numbers. They had like 0.09 expected goals after the first half, and they didn't. They were down 1-0 at the break to Brentford, and they didn't show any life really. So I'd only be looking at Spurs here. Uh, Spurs on the road minus 120, but
Can you
God, they
trust
just
them? I don't know if I can quite trust them. Even though they do come off a nice win, that's Forest on the road, though. Forest on the road is
But Forest
different.
on the road, I do trust them enough. I mean, if you look at the head-to-heads here too, like yeah, Southampton's they've avoided defeat in two of the last three head-to-heads, but just like in a general consensus on this one, and Spurs I mean, they do get the better of them most of the time
I
in this
can't. One
fixture.
of our viewers said it good a few episodes ago. They're too inconsistent to like bet them to me. And
Yeah,
now
I
you're
mean,
catching them on the road where you're not getting the home crowd at White Hart Lane on your favor. I can't trust Tottenham right now.
no, they've lost three um, on the road uh, consecutively. Then then you look on the flip side though, as they're undefeated in 9 of 11 away at St. Mary, so they don't mind coming here. And Southampton isn't like they're not really the Southampton the Huss and Hoodle,
Mm-mm.
Southampton that I would always kind of figure, they'd be competitive in some big fixtures. We've seen them, beat Man City over the last couple of years. They step up sometimes at home against the big dogs, and but yeah, you look, Spurs haven't scored in their last three on the road, so they're just too inconsistent for me to want to bet. So pass, but I would lean Spurs.
Okay, you would lean Spurs on that one. All right, let's move over to Wolves versus Leeds, where we talked about last week. I told you a good Everton result would draw some clubs down in relegation. Everton got that good result last week, and Leeds was one of those teams that was the victim of that and got pulled right down to that relegation. Now they go to the Molineux to take on Wolves, where this one is got me a little perplexed just because of the teams, and you think an over with Leeds and you think an under with Wolves, and that's just not been the case lately with Leeds. But they did show good promise against Brighton, but that was a game where we liked an over because Brighton has a knack for conceding. So I'm certainly conflicted on this one. There was no corners angle, there was really no cards angle, there wasn't an over or an under. Tough one for me, Matt. Tough. What about for you?
I think I got this one. I really do. I think that Leeds, just their style generally, it opens matches up. Like it just does. It sometimes, we've been on some overs this season with Leeds matches, and they don't come in, but like we were on one the other week against Brighton. That one came in no problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to keep going back to, I think that Leeds style, it sometimes brings the best out of the opponent's attacking philosophy. There's openings, there's gaps. The way that the matches are, I mean, they just open up. And like you can see this line, basically what it's saying is these two teams are completely even. And
Kind of is.
I would probably disagree with that a little bit. I would give a slight edge to the team that's been in the league a little bit longer. Wolves have been in this league a little bit longer. They're at home. I think that Wolves probably get the job done here. I actually wouldn't shy away from a Wolves minus a quarter. I think that that's a pretty safe look. I don't think that they're getting beat here. I'd be surprised if Wolves got beat at home here. And I know that it hasn't been a tough place to go, but I don't like this Leeds team really that much. But I think the really good angle, and if you look at the head to heads too, Jason, like Leeds they just bring out these chaotic matches, but like on the flip side, three straight road matches Leeds haven't scored.
Hmm.
But look at the head to heads here. Um, in the league, 2-1 to Leeds, 3-2 to Leeds last season, 1-1 last season. So I mean, both teams have scored. I got to just figure out here. This will be a lineup check. I would not bet this now, but just you would want to cover all your bases here, I think. And I could be talked into like a Wolves team total over 1.5. I could be. I mean, here, let's see
You're
what
getting
that
this stuff
is.
at plus money. The stuff you're rambling off. You're getting them all at
Yeah,
good
it's all
plus
it's
money. I
all
mean, the
everything I'm
over.
rambling off is plus money.
Yeah, the
It
over
is like that.
2.5. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I'd be looking towards some of those. I think that maybe Wolves team total over 1.5 has got some real value to it. I do.
Wolves have we been on a good home tick? Yeah, nothing against Bournemouth. 1-0. Oh, that was that easy under
But
2.5 for you
Bournemouth are
guys.
good. Like let's not even like Bournemouth aren't. the same as Leeds right now. Leeds are chaotic. They're a mess defensively. Bournemouth are organized.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to be tough to break down. Leeds aren't tough to freaking break down. Leeds end up coming at you with their offense, and they just leave the gaps. And I don't know. We'll see if the manager is a little bit more pragmatic. But, I know for damn sure if this was a Jesse Marsh match, this would be a plus money over 2.5. I still think that Wolves have enough firepower to score 2 on this Leeds defense. I really do. I think Leeds are very vulnerable right now.
Okay. All right. There you go, guys. Get yourself a good plus money cash, maybe an over, maybe a team total over, something along those lines. Let's move it over to the last 2 matches. One of them Saturday afternoon with Chelsea taking on Everton. I was prepared to maybe give out a little Chelsea Arsenal moneyline parlay. And now we'll get to Arsenal's matchup with Palace and why maybe that's gone south. So now I got to focus on, can I get something out of this Chelsea matchup? We see Thad in the comment section. He likes Chelsea win to 0. I also like Chelsea to win to 0. I'm a little bit nervous of doing an under 2.5 because Chelsea looks like they're back. And that makes me nervous here at home against, Everton at Stamford Bridge, where if they get an early one, then you could see the same thing that happened against Arsenal at the Emirates a few weeks ago where the under 2.5 got away from Sean Dice. That could happen here if Chelsea's able to get the early goal, and their form makes me think that they could get an early goal here at Stamford Bridge. So I'm with you, Thad. I kind of like the Chelsea win to 0 angle. They've got the bigger bodies to maybe deal with some of the set pieces that was really going to be Everton's strength. So I hear you. I was on the Chelsea Arsenal money line parlay, but I think I may pivot to the win to 0. What about for you?
Under 2.5.
You're going to go back again?
I like Thad's luck on a win to 0. I don't mind it. But look, we know what Sean Dyche is going to come here and do. They're going to set up in a low block with all these new Chelsea players. Yes, but Chelsea have been getting going in these kind of more open matches. This one isn't going to be open. This is going to be tight. This is going to be, you got to come and break them down and stuff. And can Enzo Fernandez and those guys do it? Yes, of course they can. But I can see this one being where it takes a little bit of time to do that. So I just hope that really Everton, you just hope that Everton don't contribute to the score sheet. If Everton, if Everton don't score, I don't think Chelsea's scoring 3 on Sean Dyche. I don't. So I like under 2.5. I think it's shaded correctly.
Yeah, minus 130. Last 5 head-to-heads have all hit that as well, the under 2.5. Yeah, it's always the good look with Sean Dice. It all depends on when that first goal comes and then how soon does Sean Dice have to open it up. I tell you what, he's got nothing to lose. Remember, we talked about last week how they needed the 3 points because then they do like Chelsea, Tottenham, United, I think were their next 3 opponents. And so they got the 3 points they needed. Now, maybe he can be a little bit more open. I don't think you're going to grind out to a Chelsea result. I think he's maybe got to go for it a little bit more. So maybe that Chelsea team total could also come and play if he decides to open it up a little bit. So, but coming out of the gates, he's going to keep it tight. 100%.
First half under 1.5 is a good parlay piece at minus 280.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
I don't see that.
Tight. He's going to keep it tight for a while.
Slow burn.
Yeah. I hear you right there. All right. Well, my parlay piece was going to be Chelsea Arsenal. Can't do Arsenal anymore on that money line parlay, or at least I'm scared because Thad hit the nail on here. Patrick Vieira, he's been sacked this morning. So now I'm nervous as hell, Matt, for the manager bounce. It's got me so goddamn nervous. Do I just pivot to an Arsenal team total over 1.5 as the parlay piece with Chelsea money line? I'm so goddamn nervous. Palace has done nothing all season, but I am nervous of the bounce. That's what's got me put off of it.
Well, there is no bounce yet. Who's going to be appointed? Are they going to go into the depths of
They don't have a backroom staff. It said in that ESPN article that 3 of his assistants were let go too. So there's no pull in, guy number 2. What they always call him, number 2.
This is a win to 0. Arsenal are going to stomp them here. I wouldn't be scared of anything. I like Arsenal minus 1.5, minus 140.
They're going to be back in the league. They don't have. You saw yesterday. Arsenal's not ready to compete for multiple trophies. They don't have the rotation. Boy, when they rotated yesterday, they don't have the depth obviously like a City or a Chelsea or name another club. I saw that lineup yesterday. I knew they were kind of in trouble. They just don't have the depth to compete with some of these other clubs from a depth perspective. They'll come back in the league. They'll have their A lineup. I'm not worried. This is their focus this year, win the league. So you're not worried?
Yeah, that was the best thing that could have ever happened, honestly, is losing that.
So
It is. It's
you're
a
not
blessing
worried
in
at all.
disguise.
You like them. Let's see what the. So what's the -1.5 then?
Minus 140.
Oh, okay.
I just don't think that this isn't like that managerial bounce that I'm worried about. It's just not. And this is a tough place to go travel. Yes, they can be competitive. Something I don't know. Give me some lineups. Wait a little bit. Wait, and let's wait for some Palace info and stuff on this one. There's no reason to rush here, but I
Uh,
wouldn't be betting.
man, you say that, and I normally agree, but like, I don't care what Palace puts out there. They've been so dreadful. Like, I could really, even if they
That's
throw out a name line, like, I really, in terms of waiting for lineups, I'm trying to think of like who's in there that's going to give me pause. The only thing is the manager bounce, like, you know,
yeah.
the lineup though doesn't give me any pause.
Arsenal -1 is a good parlay piece.
All right, I think I'm going to maybe go back to the original. I'm going to price shop here and buy it. Well, maybe we give out
Yeah.
some bet. I'm going to go back to Chelsea Arsenal then. Moneyline parlay. -113. I like it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. -113.
I
I'll
would
give
do
that out.
Arsenal. I would do Arsenal -1 to get that thing. Get it to a plus 150 parlay. Something like that. I don't trust Chelsea all that much, but they will probably get the job done. But I just like Dyche so much that I don't know. But they probably get the job done.
Yeah, okay. But the under, yeah, I mean, the under is obviously a fantastic look. All right, let's give out some bets. Let's give out some bets. I'm going to throw mine up on the screen while you talk. I'm going to add this one to it. I'm adding it.
Yeah.
What you going to bet this week?
Yeah, both teams to score, and Villa Bournemouth -120 looks really good. I'm gonna line shop that after I get off here. Maybe find a 110. Brentford and Leicester over 2.5. And those are the two. It's been a nice little run here over the last couple shows. I'm had a lot of nice winners. I'm just gonna stick with those two for now, and then the one that I'll really be looking into will be that Wolves Leeds match. I could definitely see myself getting on a Wolves team total over 1.5 at a nice plus price. And I like your corners angle and Nottingham, Newcastle.
Okay, I am going to price shop that both teams to score. You guys can see what's on the screen. I know if Matt needs to drop, but I'm going to hang. I'm going to add that Villa Bournemouth.
Mm-hmm.
Both teams to score. I'm price shopping now. That's a great price. -112 over at FanDuel. I'm going to check Caesar.
Yeah.
So, guys, I'm going to sit here. I'm going to give out another bet. I am going to price shop it. If you're interested in knowing the best price for a Villa Bournemouth, both teams to score, hang. If you've got a drop, if you got to go watch the madness that is March, by all means. Matt, before you drop, who's going to win Champions League given the draw?
I saw that draw today. It really benefits Real Madrid, really, but it also benefits. I mean, even now there's some of these surprises. Napoli, that was a great draw for Napoli.
Great draw for Napoli.
Great draw for Napoli.
They should cruise to the final.
What was the other one? Benfica plays
Inter.
I think that Benfica is going to smack them. I think it's a great draw for Benfica. I think Benfica goes to the semis. I think that Napoli goes to the semis. And then what? It's City versus Bayern. Holy shit. The João Cancelo derby. I'll say that City ends up getting the job done. Oh, I love that. God, what a freaking matchup.
City
and Bayern. Wild stuff.
Wild.
Real Madrid will get the better of Chelsea. I'm pretty confident of that. So, Chelsea will give them some scares. But I watched that Real Madrid team. I mean, they're freaking unbelievable. So Real Madrid, Napoli, Benfica goes through. I feel very confident that Benfica goes through.
They create way more than Inter. They create way more.
They'll be dogs to go through. And then you flip your coin, and I'll go with Erling Haaland to be just.
I'll go with Erling Haaland.
I'll go with Erling Haaland to be the difference maker.
He'll be back in Germany's soil, so that'll help him. He loves scoring in Germany.
Sadio Mane will be there. I'll be on some same game parlay. Erling and Sadio both score.
Right.
100%. That will be a good bet. for both of them to score in the first matchup or the second matchup. I think in Sadio will be 100% fit. Yeah, those are interesting. What a matchup.
It's gonna
What
be.
a dream for Napoli. Holy shit. Napoli's going to the final, it looks like.
Yeah, I've got a I've got a Napoli United parlay future.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh yeah, it's
This
gonna
was this was a dream
dream
for you.
draw for the Napoli holders. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
dream.
I love it.
Absolutely dream. All right, if you've got a drop,
All
Matt,
right,
feel free.
I
I'm
got a
price
drop.
shopping this.
Go IU.
All right, see you, man.
All right, see ya. Bye.
All right, guys, I am going to price shop this with you guys. Oh, now I get this out of my way. I'm going to add a bet to that, so that'll be a third bet coming. Premier League, baby. Premier League, baby. I'm adding it. I can do a Villa Bournemouth, both teams to score. I could get on that, Matt. Now I got 4 bets this week in the Premier League. I don't know about that Wolves team total, though. I think man, Wolves is just dreadful in offense. Dreadful. I hear him though at a good plus money price to get that. Let's see. Let's toss this up. I am going to do Villa Bournemouth. I hear him. Ooh, let me screenshot this and get it up here. The best price was at FanDuel. I know you guys are obviously curious, just like I am. You always want the best price. Let's throw that up on the screen. Oh, here, let me do the NBC Sports Predictor app while I'm sitting here, too. I don't really have full time for that today. So let's throw up my picks for that. So I'm going to go ahead and roll with that. Let's log out of FanDuel. Let's go ahead and jump in the NBC Sports Predictor app. Let's go through that, fellas. Let's go ahead and run through that as well while we're at it. NBC Sports Predictor. Here we go. That Brentford Leeds, guys, get on that over. Get on that over. Brian with the big victory last week. 26 points. My man, Brian. Coming through. All right, let's see what the matchups are this weekend. Let's do Villa Bournemouth. I think Villa does pull out the 2-1 win. So I'm going Villa 2-1. Villa 2-1 on the NBC Sports Predictor app. 2-1. Let's go ahead and do Brentford, Leicester. God, there's going to be a goal. I'm going to go 3-1 Brentford. Leicester is going to contribute. You know, Madison's back. They still can awfully create through Madison, Barnes, and Vardy. Like, that's good for a goal. Madison, Barnes, and Vardy is good for a goal. And then Brentford, I'm going to go 3. Leicester's been that leaky. Brentford is just really stinking good at home. So we've kind of talked about their home and away splits. I'm going to go 3-1 Brentford. Southampton, Tottenham. I'll go 2-0 Tottenham, but man, not really even feel good about that. Wolves, Leeds. I'll follow Matt and go 2-1 Wolves. I'll say they do hit their team total, and Leeds is going to score. They got no Tyler Adams for that one, so that should play in a little bit more there for the Wolves team total. No Tyler Adams. I'll go 2-1. Chelsea, I'll go 2-0 over Everton. They'll get the 2-0 job over Everton. Then Arsenal, Palace, I'll go 3-0. I'll go 3-0. See, that's what we're going with, fellas. I'll create this thing in a post. We'll go 2-1 Villa, 3-1 Brentford, 2-0 Tottenham, 2-1 Wolves, 2-0 Chelsea, 3-0 Arsenal. That's how we'll roll this weekend on the NBC Sports Predictor app. All right. There we have it, fellas. Appreciate you guys talking some Premier League with us. Good luck with your bets this weekend. Hope you guys are able to enjoy the soccer and cash some bets along the way. And hopefully you can tail these so we can cash them together. That'd feel nice and good. All right. Enjoy the games. We'll see you guys back here next week.